the Eight Consciousnesses. By Tripitaka Master Sywan Dzang of the Tang Dynasty. Translation and explanation by Professor Ronald Epstein. 1. Introduction. The work, written by Tripitaka Master Sywan Dzang, AD 596–664, at the request of his foremost disciple and successor Dharma Master Kwei Ji, AD 632–682, is a summary of the doctrine contained in Hsuan Tsang's most celebrated work, Treatise on Consciousness Only. The Treatise on Consciousness Only is a commentary on the 30 verses on consciousness only by the Bodhisattva Vasubandhu, FL 4th Center AD. The treatise is based on the Sanskrit commentary of the Venerable Dharmapala, FL 6th Center AD, and 9 other Indian masters. Dharmapala was the teacher of Master Sywan Dzang's own teacher, Silabhadra, the Abbot of Nalanda Monastery in India. Vasubandhu's 30 verses on consciousness only is in turn a verse summary of the major systematic work of the consciousness only, the treatise on the stages of yoga practice, which is alternately attributed to Vasubandhu's older brother the Bodhisattva Asanga, FL 4th Center AD, according to the Tibetan tradition, or to Asanga's supramundane master the Bodhisattva Maitreya according to the Chinese tradition. At any rate, according to Sywan Dzang's biography, Hui-li, Life of Hsuan Tsang, Asanga entered samadhi and ascended to the inner courtyard of the Tusita Heaven to learn the doctrine of consciousness only, from the Bodhisattva Maitreya. In brief, the verses delineating the 8 consciousnesses is a verse summary of a commentary on a verse summary of the treatise on the stages of yoga practice. Only a simple explanation of the meaning of the lines of the verses is presented here.
Viewpoint. The starting point of the consciousness-only school is that everything is created from the mind as is consciousness only. Everything, from birth and death to the cause of attaining nirvana, is based upon the coming into being and the ceasing to be of consciousness, that is, of distinctions in the mind. Consciousness-only doctrine is characterized by its extensive and sophisticated inquiry into the characteristics of dharmas. For if we can distinguish what is real from what is unreal, if we can distinguish what is distinction-making consciousness and not mistake it for the originally clear, pure, bright enlightened mind, then we can quickly leave the former and dwell in the latter. Chan Master Han Shan, AD 1546–1623, has said, when consciousness only was made known to them, i.e., those of the Hinayana vehicles, they knew that all dharmas had no existence independent from their own minds. If one does not see the mind with the mind, then no characteristic can be got at. Therefore, in developing the spiritual skill necessary for meditative inquiry, people are taught to look into what is apart from heart, mind, and consciousness and to seek for what is apart from the states of unreal, polluted, thinking.
2. Translation of text. Part 1, the 5th consciousness. The direct, veridical perception of natural states can involve any of the 3 natures. 3 consciousnesses, eyes, ears, and body, occupy 2 grounds. They interact with the universally interactive, the particular states, the 11 wholesome, 2 intermediate grade, 8 major grade, greed, anger, and foolishness. The 5 consciousnesses are all supported by organs of pure form. That with 9 preconditions and those with 7 and 8 are close neighbors. 3 perceive the world of defilement by contact and 2 perceive it at a distance. The foolish have difficulty distinguishing consciousness from organ. The transformation of the perceived division in the contemplation of emptiness is merely later attained wisdom. At the fruition, if there is still self, there is not total truth. At the initial emergence of perfect clarity, the stage of no outflows is realized. Using 3 kinds of transformation bodies, one brings the wheel of suffering to rest. Part 2, the 6th consciousness. Having 3 natures and with 3 modes of knowledge, it pervades the 3 states. As it turns on the wheel, it easily comes to know the 3 realms it turns within. It interacts with all 51 dharmas interactive with the mind. Whenever it is wholesome or unwholesome, they make distinctions and accompany it. Its 3 natures, the 3 states it relates with, and its 3 kinds of feeling are constantly in flux. The basic and subsidiary afflictions together with faith and other wholesome dharmas always arise jointly with the 6th consciousness. In physical action and in speech it is the most important. It brings to completion by its ability to summon forth the power of karma that leads to rebirth. When the state of mind that is the initial phase of the ground of rejoicing arises, innate attachments still spontaneously appear as bonds and latent tendencies. After the far-reaching ground, it is purified and without outflows. When the wisdom of wonderful contemplation becomes fully bright, it illuminates the universe.
Part 3, the seventh consciousness. The state of transposed substance that has the obscuring indeterminate nature is the connection between the sentience and the basis. According with conditions and attached to self, its mode of knowledge is fallacy. The 8 major grade derivative afflictions, the universally interactive, of the particular states, judgment, self-love, self-delusion, view of self, and self-conceit all interact and accord with it. It continuously focuses its mental activity on inquiry, which results in the characteristic that is self. Day and night it reduces sentient beings to a state of confusion. The 4 delusions and the 8 major grade derivative afflictions arise interacting with it. When the 6th consciousness is functioning, the 7th is called the basis of defilement and purity. During the initial phase of the ground of extreme rejoicing, the wisdom whose nature is equality begins to appear. Practice becomes effortless and the self is destroyed for good. The thus come one appears, in a body, for the enjoyment of others as an opportunity for bodhisattvas of the 10th ground.
Part 4, the 8th consciousness. Its nature is exclusively the non-obscuring indeterminate, and it interacts with the 5 universally interactive dharmas. The 3 realms with their 9 grounds come into being in accord with the power of karma. Because of their confused attachments, those of the 2 vehicles don't comprehend it, and based upon those attachments, there arise the disputes of the Shastra masters. How vast and unfathomable is the threefold alaya! Generated by the winds of states, 7 waves arise from its depths. It undergoes perfuming and contains the seeds of the body with its organs and of the material world. After going and before coming, it's in control. Before the unmoving ground attachment to the storehouse is finally relinquished. Upon completion of the Vajra path, it is empty of the ripening of results. The great perfect mirror wisdom and the undefiled consciousness are produced at the same time, and in the 10 directions universally illuminate the Buddha fields as countless as motes of dust.